You know, there's a lot of cruel paradoxes or ironies in recovery. And one of them is that a key part of recovery is getting outside for sunlight and exercise, the ultimate happy pills. But in order to do that, you have to be motivated, which many are not, particularly in early sobriety, particularly because they're running at a dopamine deficit from not getting the artificial hits from alcohol, and they need to replace them with natural ones. And part of that is by moving to get outside, but they're not motivated to, which ironically the antidote to motivation is to get moving, because it causes your brain to release dopamine, which is the chemical of motivation. How ironic is that? So when you're feeling unmotivated, you have to move to give yourself a chance of being motivated. That's why if you wait for it to happen, if you wait for motivation to happen, it often just doesn't happen. So how do you overcome that? Well, it's with willpower, which we also have very little of in early sobriety. How do you lessen that burden? It's by using baby steps, which will make the activity less painful and diminish the willpower requirement necessary, and also make the task seem less daunting. So instead of thinking you have to go out for a long walk, just go out for a quick walk. I.e., instead of a long run, go out for as you progress, just a longer walk, and maybe pick up your pace a little bit every day. But it's so key to the recovery process. And I was reminded of that recently. Even now, 16 months in, I was feeling a little unmotivated before a recent vacation. Definitely was sliding into vacation, or whatever the word is, when you're hitting that wall and it can't come fast enough. And I realized, because it was up in Lake Placid, up in the Adirondack Mountains, where I started running again out in trails, I realized I had barely been running and getting great cardio outside of my great 3-minute cold shower dance, but I was not getting it in the great outdoors because I was hermiting myself trying to be productive, which was having the opposite effects. The only time I was getting out was every other day to go to the gym, and I would quick 5-minute run back and forth, but otherwise I was just doing weights. I was not getting cardio, and I was reminded of the importance, and it felt great and did so much for my mental health, and I've been maintaining it since I got back. And I was also reminded, someone gave the quote recently saying, move a muscle, change a thought. An example of that was, and I shared on this in social media, I don't think on a video, but I was feeling pretty down recently, doing a couple things that had happened that day, and I went to pick up my car, which was getting the tires replaced. One of the things was I wasn't happy with my tire selection. I went with the generic ones, I think foolishly, although hopefully it doesn't matter. Typically generic are fine, but then I did the research after I got home, and it seems not the best choice. And they weren't, my car, they said it was ready, but it was a madhouse in the lobby. My gym was in the same parking lot. So I went over and said, all right, I'm going to do a quick workout. Within doing one set of reps, I was feeling better. And within 2, I was sky high, because that's because your body releases endorphins, which of course are natural mood boosters, and that leaves you happier and more relaxed. And as I said in that video, I realized it engages your frontal cortex, which is the key to fighting off your emotional midbrain. So I can't emphasize enough how important movement is, particularly in the great outdoors. Baby steps, one day at a time, a little more every day, just like with cold shower finishes. Doesn't have to be the coldest water, doesn't have to be that long, but just a little more every day, and I have several videos on that. All right, I guess that'll do it. I encourage you, as always, I'm now ending my videos, to look up the AI benefits of anything I talk about, and certainly this is one of them. There are so many benefits to the concept of moving a muscle, changing a thought, which is so key to maintaining your mental health in recovery and not being tempted to hit that easy button. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. That should be my new ending, but I will end with, as always, stronger, sober. And please like, share, subscribe. Thanks.